Commander Day stood tall in his battle armor, his face a mask of stone. For 20 years, he had led the most feared battalion in the Stellar Dominion. His name made entire planets surrender without a fight. Now, he stood in a plain white hallway, waiting to meet a human child. "This is a waste of my skills," he said to Admiral Tai, his superior officer. Admiral Tai, a small man with gray hair, looked up at Day. "The High Council has spoken. This assignment is not a choice." Day's fists clenched. "I am a warrior, not a babysitter." "You are what the Dominion needs you to be," said Admiral Ta. "And right now, we need peace with Earth. This human child is important to them." Day looked down at the file in his hand. The girl's name was Ja. Age: 12 Earth years. Height: 4 feet, 3 inches. Weight: 65 pounds. Medical status: fragile but stable. "Why her?" asked Da. "What makes this small human so special?" Admiral Tay's face softened. "She survived the Red Plague. Only 1 in a million children did. The humans see her as special, as hope." He paused. "And she has a gift for making friends, even with those who are difficult." Day snorted. "So I am to guard a sick child who talks well." "You are to guard Earth's most effective diplomat," said Admiral Ta sharply. "One who has brought peace to 3 conflicts we could not solve with force." He stepped closer to Da. "And you will do it well, or you will lose your rank. Is that clear, Commander?" Day straightened his back. "Yes, Admiral." "Good." Admiral Ta checked his watch. "The Earth ship lands in 10 minutes. Be ready." After the Admiral left, Dai paced the hallway. This was wrong. He should be leading his troops, not playing nurse to a weak human. 5 years ago, his forces had nearly conquered Earth itself. Now he was forced to protect one of them. The shame burned in his chest. The alert sounded, and Dai moved to the landing bay. The Earth ship was small and plain, nothing like the grand warships Dad was used to. As the door opened, 3 adult humans stepped out first. 2 women and 1 man, all in simple blue uniforms. They looked tense when they saw Da. Then came the girl. Jill was smaller than her file suggested. Her black hair was cut short, and her face was pale. She walked slowly, carefully, as if testing the ground with each step. But her eyes, dark and clear, showed no fear. She looked up at Da and smiled. "Hello," she said. "You must be Commander Da." "I am Ja." She bowed slightly, in the old Earth way. Day did not bow back. "I am your assigned protector." One of the human women stepped forward. "Commander, I am Dr. Kim, Ja's physician. She needs regular rest and medications. Her schedule is in this file." She held out a tablet. Day took it without looking at it. "I will ensure her safety. Nothing more." Dr. Kim's face tightened. Ja's health is part of her safety. The male human spoke next. "I'm Ambassador Park. We understand this assignment may not be what you expected, Commander, but Jia is Earth's most valued representative." Day looked down at the girl again. She was studying him with interest, as if he were a puzzle to solve. "Why would they send a child to speak for Earth?" Day asked. It was Jia who answered. "Because children ask simple questions," she said. Her voice was soft but clear, and sometimes simple questions are the most important ones. Day frowned. "Simple questions do not stop wars." "Actually," said the third adult, "Jia's questions stopped the fighting between the Centauri planets last year. She has a 98% approval rating across 17 different species." Day could not hide his surprise. 98%. Jia smiled again. "People are nice when you are nice to them first," she said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Day felt his anger rise again. This was nonsense. Kindness did not rule the galaxy. Strength did. He had proven that many times. "I have killed more enemies than you have met people, child," he said coldly. I have conquered worlds and crushed rebellions, and now I am told to follow you around and make sure you take your medicine." The humans looked worried, but Jia did not flinch. "Have you ever tried just being polite?" she asked. The question caught Dot off guard. "What?" "Being polite," she repeated. "It works better than killing, most of the time." For a moment, Dai did not know what to say. This small human was either very brave or very foolish. Ambassador Park cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should see our quarters now, Commander." Day nodded stiffly. "Follow me." As they walked through the space station, Dai noticed how other aliens reacted to Ja. The fierce Tellurian guards nodded to her. The usually cold Vex diplomats actually smiled. Even the station commander, a stern woman named Captain Lee, softened when Ja thanked her for the welcome. Captain Lee turned to Dai. "Commander, you have an important job. This girl is the best chance we have for lasting peace in this sector." "So everyone keeps telling me," said Dai. In the guest quarters, Day reviewed the security systems while Dr. Kim helped Jia take her medicine. The room had 3 bedrooms, one for Jia, one for Dr. Kim, and one shared by Ambassador Park and his assistant. Dad would sleep in the outer room, guarding the door. As the humans settled in, Dai stood by the window, looking out at the stars. 5 years ago, he had led the attack on the human colony on Proxima b. The humans had fought well, but could not match his forces. He had expected to be remembered for great victories, not for babysitting a child. Later, as the others rested, Jia came to stand beside him at the window. "The stars look different from each place we see them," she said. Day did not reply. "Tomorrow we meet the Regellian delegation," Jia continued. "They are very proud. Do you know much about them?" "I fought them in the Belt Wars," said Dai. "They are strong but predictable in battle." Jia nodded. "What do they care about most? What makes them happy or sad?" Day frowned. "Why does that matter?" "Because if I know what they care about, I can show them respect in the right way," said Jia. "And respect is important to the Regellians, isn't it?" Day stared at her. How did this child know that? The Regellians valued respect above all else. "Yes," he admitted, "they do." Jia smiled. "See, being polite works, even with the Regellians." Before Dai could answer, Dr. Kim called Jia back to take more medicine. As the girl walked away, Dai felt confused. This was not how diplomacy worked in his experience. Diplomacy was about power, about leverage, about who had the stronger position. But as he watched Jia carefully take her pills, he wondered. This small, sick human had somehow succeeded where his armies had failed. How was that possible? For the first time in many years, Commander Da, the terror of 12 star systems, felt uncertain, and he did not like the feeling at all. Morning came quickly on the space station. Commander Da had slept little, his mind troubled by strange dreams of battlefields and small voices asking simple questions. He rose before the humans and checked the security systems once more. Ambassador Park emerged first from his room, already dressed in his blue uniform. "Good morning, Commander," he said. "I trust you slept well." Day grunted. "I slept enough." Dr. Kim came out next, carrying a small bag of medicines. "Ja will be ready soon. She needs a little extra time in the mornings." Day nodded stiffly. He had studied the girl's medical file during the night. The red plague had weakened her lungs and heart, making even simple tasks difficult sometimes. Yet she had survived when millions of other children had not. "The meeting with the Regellians is in 2 hours," said Ambassador Park. "We should eat first." The door to Ju's room slid open, and the girl stepped out. Her face was pale, but her eyes were bright. She wore a simple white dress with blue trim. "Good morning, everyone," she said, bowing slightly. "I hope you all slept well." The adults, even Da, found themselves bowing back. "The station has a dining hall for diplomats," said Da. "I will take you there." As they walked through the station corridors, Dai noticed how Ja moved. She was slow but steady, conserving her energy. Yet she never complained or asked to rest. When they passed other aliens in the hallway, she always smiled and nodded respectfully. In the dining hall, many different species sat at tables, talking in low voices. When Gia entered, several heads turned. A tall, green-skinned diplomat stood up and approached their table. "Earthchild," he said in a hissing voice, "it is good to see you again." Gia smiled warmly. "Ambassador Sile, it is good to see you too. How is your daughter? Did she recover from her illness?" The green alien's face softened. "Yes, thanks to the medicine your people sent. She asks about you often." Day watched this exchange with surprise. The Sylvans were known for their distrust of other species, yet this one spoke to Ja like an old friend. After Ambassador Sile left, Day leaned forward. "You know the Sylvans?" Gia nodded, taking a small bite of her breakfast. "We met last year during the trade talks. His daughter has a sickness similar to what I had." "And you sent them medicine." "It was the right thing to do," she said simply. Before Dai could respond, a group of large, gray-skinned aliens entered the dining hall. Their heavy armor clanked as they walked. The Rigelians had arrived early. The tallest Rigelian spotted their table and marched over. His face was scared, and his eyes were cold. "So this is the famous Earthchild," he said, looking down at Ja. "You are smaller than I expected." Day tensed, ready to intervene if needed. The Rigelian's tone was not friendly. But Gia just smiled. "And you must be General Kor. Your reputation for bravery is known even on Earth. It is an honor to meet you." The Rigelian's expression changed slightly. "You know of me?" "Of course," said Gia. "The Battle of the Seven Moons is studied by our students. Your strategy was brilliant." General Kor's chest swelled with pride. "It was a good fight. I would love to hear more about it sometime," said Ja. "If you would be willing to share your wisdom." The general nodded, clearly pleased. "Perhaps I will, Earthchild." He glanced at Da. "Commander Da, I did not expect to see you here. Have you given up conquering worlds to babysit humans now?" Day felt his anger rise, but before he could speak, Gia answered. "The commander honors us with his protection," she said firmly. "As the Dominion's finest warrior, he knows the value of building peace as well as winning wars." Both Da and General Kor looked at her in surprise. "Is that so?" said the general, raising an eyebrow. "Of course," said Jia confidently. "Only the truly strong can choose peace when war is easier." The general studied her for a moment, then laughed. "You speak well for one so young." He turned to Da. "Perhaps this assignment is not so beneath you after all, Commander." With that, he rejoined his group. Day stared at Jia. "Why did you defend me?" "Because it was true," she said, "and because we are a team now." After breakfast, they returned to their quarters to prepare for the official meeting. Dr. Kim helped Jia take her medications while Ambassador Park reviewed his notes. Day stood by the window again, thinking about the exchange with General Kor. The girl had turned an insult into a compliment with just a few words. It was a skill he had never mastered or valued. "Commander," Jia's voice interrupted his thoughts. She stood beside him, looking up with curious eyes. "May I ask you something?" Day nodded. "When you fought the Rigelians in the Belt Wars, what did you learn about them that might help us today?" Day considered the question carefully. "The Rigelians value strength, but they value honor more. They will keep their word, even if it costs them." "And what do they fear?" "Shame," said Dai without hesitation. "To lose face is worse than death for them." Jia nodded thoughtfully. "Thank you. That helps me understand them better." "Why is this meeting important?" asked Da. "The Rigelians control the space lanes near Earth," explained Ambassador Park, joining them. "We need safe passage for our ships." "But the Dominion has already guaranteed your safety," said Da. "Yes," said Park, "but we need friends, not just protectors." Jia smiled. and friends help each other. An hour later, they entered the grand meeting hall. Representatives from 12 different worlds sat around a large table. The Regellian delegation sat to one side, their armor gleaming under the lights. As they walked to their seats, Gia stumbled slightly. Day reached out instinctively, steadying her with one large hand. "Thank you," she whispered, her breathing a little heavier than normal. "Are you well enough for this?" he asked quietly. She nodded. "I have to be." The meeting began with formal introductions. When it was Earth's turn, Ambassador Park spoke first, then introduced Gia. She stood slowly, her small figure drawing all eyes in the room. "Thank you for allowing Earth to join these talks," she said, her voice clear despite its softness. "We come seeking friendship, not just agreements. We believe that the stars have enough room for all of us, if we learn to share them wisely." The room was silent when she finished. Even the Regellians seemed thoughtful. As the talks continued, Dai watched Gia carefully. She spoke little but listened closely to everyone. When she did speak, people leaned forward to catch her words. During a break, General Kor approached them again. "Your Earth-child speaks well," he said to Ambassador Park. "But words alone do not build trust." "What would build trust, in your view?" asked Gia. The general considered her question. "Proof that your people are worthy allies, strong enough to stand with us if needed." "Earth has little military power compared to the Regellian Empire," said Gia honestly. "But strength comes in many forms. When the sunstorms hit the Proxima colonies last year, Earth sent doctors, not soldiers. They saved many lives, including Regellian lives." General Kor's eyes narrowed. "My brother's family was on Proxima B." "I know," said Gia. "Dr. Sun led the team that helped them. She spoke highly of your brother's courage." The general was silent for a moment. "You are well informed, Earth-child. Friends should know what matters to each other," said Gia simply. After the general walked away, Da looked at Gia with new respect. "You knew about his brother." She nodded. "I studied everyone who would be at this meeting. It's important to know what people care about." "Is that what makes you a good diplomat? Knowing facts about people?" Gia shook her head. "Caring about their facts. That's different." As they returned to the meeting, Day found himself wondering about this strange child. She had turned his ideas of power upside down. In just one day, she had gained more respect from the Regellians than the Dominion had won in years of war. And somehow, he realized, he was beginning to care what she thought of him. 3 days passed. The talks with the Regellians went well, better than anyone expected. By the final day, they had agreed to let Earth ships travel safely through their space. It was a big win for Earth. As they prepared to leave the station for their next stop, Commander Day found himself watching Gia more closely. She tired easily but never complained. Each morning, she took her medicines without fuss. Each day, she met with aliens who could crush her with one hand, yet she showed no fear. "We leave for the Centauri Peace Conference tomorrow," Ambassador Park told them during dinner. "It's a bigger event than this one. 27 different species will be there." Dr. Kim looked worried. "Gia, that will be very tiring for you. Perhaps we should skip some of the social events." "I'll be fine," said Gia with a small smile. "The social events are where the real work happens." Day raised an eyebrow. "I thought the real work happened in the meeting rooms." Gia shook her head. "People say what they think in meeting rooms. They say what they feel at dinner tables." Later that night, as the humans slept, Day received a message from Admiral Ta. "Report on your progress," the Admiral's face demanded from the screen. "The Earth delegation has secured passage rights through Regellian space," said Dai stiffly. "Yes, we heard. General Kor himself sent word to the High Council." The Admiral looked surprised. "He said the Earth child impressed him. And he mentioned you specifically." "Me?" Da could not hide his surprise. "He said you showed wisdom in supporting the diplomatic approach." Admiral Ta studied Da's face. "Have you learned something from this assignment, Commander?" Day thought for a moment. "I am. observing new tactics. The Admiral almost smiled. Continue your observations, and protect the girl. She seems to be valuable in ways we did not understand. After the call ended, Da checked on the sleeping humans. Ambassador Park snored softly. Dr. Kim slept silently. When he peeked into Zhe's room, he found her awake, reading from a small tablet. "You should be sleeping," he said. "Tomorrow will be a long day." "I know," she said, "but I'm reading about the Centauri customs. They have so many rules about how to eat and talk." Day nodded. "They are very formal. I once had to attend a dinner with their war leader. It was challenging." Jia smiled. "Did you make any mistakes?" "I used the wrong fork for the meat dish. The war leader was insulted." "What did you do?" Dave frowned at the memory. "I told him that where I come from, we eat with our hands. Then I threw the fork away." Jia laughed. A small, gentle sound. "Did that work?" "No." He refused to sign the treaty. It took 3 more battles before they surrendered. "Maybe using the right fork would have been easier," said Jia. Dave found himself almost smiling. Maybe. The next morning, they boarded a small ship bound for Centauri Prime. The journey would take 10 hours. Jia spent much of it studying, while Ambassador Park and Dr. Kim discussed strategy. Day sat across from Jia, cleaning his sidearm. He noticed her watching him. "Does this bother you?" he asked, holding up the weapon. "No," she said, "but I'm curious. Have you always been a soldier?" Day nodded. "Since I was 13. My family has served the Dominion for 6 generations." "Do you like it, being a soldier?" The question caught him off guard. No one had ever asked him that before. "I am good at it," he said at last. "That's not the same thing," said Jia. Dad put down his weapon. "What about you? Do you like being a diplomat?" "Yes," she said without hesitation. "I like helping people find ways to get along. And I like learning about different cultures. Even though it makes you tired. Even though you have to take medicines all the time." Jia looked out the window at the stars streaking by. "I almost died when I was 8. The Red Plague was very bad. Many of my friends did die." She turned back to Da. "Every day since then has been a gift." So yes, even with the medicines. Day felt something strange in his chest, a tightness that wasn't unpleasant. This small human saw the universe so differently than he did. They arrived at Centauri Prime in the evening. The space station there was much larger than the last one, with tall windows showing the blue-green planet below. "Pretty," said Jia, looking down at the world. "I led the attack on their moon base 5 years ago," said Da quietly. "Before the peace treaties. And now you're here as a protector, not a conqueror," said Jia. Things change. Their rooms on this station were larger, with a common area where they could eat together. After they settled in, a message arrived inviting them to a welcome dinner with some of the early arrivals for the conference. "We should go," said Ambassador Park. "It will be a good chance to meet people informally." The dinner was held in a grand hall. 12 different species were there, sitting at round tables under soft lights. Jia, Dr. Kim, and Ambassador Park were seated with representatives from 3 other worlds. Dai stood behind Jia's chair, scanning the room for threats. A small, furry alien approached their table. "Earthchild," he said in a high, squeaky voice. "I am Bin of the Malkite cluster. We have heard much about you." Jia smiled warmly. "It is an honor to meet you, Representative Bin. Your people's music is famous throughout the galaxy." The furry alien's eyes widened. "You know of our music. I listen to Malkite songs to help me sleep," said Jia. "The harmony patterns are beautiful." The alien was clearly pleased. He bowed low and returned to his table. Soon after, a Malkite servant brought a small jeweled box to Jia. "A gift from Representative Bin," the servant explained. "A recording of our most honored songs." Ambassador Park looked impressed. The Malkites rarely share their music with outsiders. Jia held the box carefully. "I will thank him properly tomorrow." As the dinner continued, Dai watched how Jia spoke with each person at her table. She asked questions and really listened to the answers. She remembered details about their worlds and customs. By the end of the meal, everyone was smiling and talking freely. On their way back to their rooms, they passed a group of tall, blue-skinned aliens. One of them, wearing an official badge, bumped into Jia without looking down. "Watch where you're going, small one," he said rudely. Day stepped forward, anger flashing in his eyes. But Jia touched his arm gently. "I am sorry for the collision," she said to the blue alien. "These halls are crowded tonight. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening." The alien looked down, surprised to be addressed so politely after his rudeness. He hesitated, then nodded slightly before moving on. Once they were alone in the corridor, Dai frowned. "He was disrespectful. You should not have apologized." "It cost me nothing to be polite," said Jia. "And now he feels a little foolish for being rude. In the Dominion military, such disrespect would be punished." "And would that make him respect you more, or just fear you more?" Day didn't answer. He had never considered the difference. Back in their rooms, Dr. Kim checked Jia's vital signs. "Your heart rate is elevated. You've done too much today." "I'm fine," insisted Jia. "Just a little tired." "Bed rest tomorrow morning," said Dr. Kim firmly. No arguments. After Jia went to bed, Ambassador Park pulled Dai aside. "You handled that situation in the corridor well," he said. "A month ago, you might have started an incident." "I did nothing," said Dai. "Exactly," said Park with a smile. "Sometimes doing nothing is the hardest thing for a soldier." The next morning, while Jia rested, Day received an unexpected visitor. The blue-skinned alien from the night before stood at their door. "I am Sub-Minister Lee of the Altair Union," he said stiffly. "I wish to speak with the Earth-child." "She is resting," said Dai coldly. I wish to apologize for my behavior last night," said the alien, looking uncomfortable. "It was beneath my station." Day stared at him in surprise. "You came here to apologize?" "Yes." Her response to my rudeness was enlightening. Later, when Jia awoke, Dai told her about the sub-minister's visit. "He will return this afternoon to apologize in person," said Dai. "I have never seen an Altarian apologize before." Jia smiled. "See, politeness can be powerful too." Day nodded slowly. "I am beginning to understand your tactics, Earthchild." "They're not tactics," said Jia gently. "Just how people should treat each other." For the first time since his assignment began, Commander Day, feared warrior of the Stellar Dominion, wondered if he had been fighting the wrong battles all along. The Centauri Peace Conference officially began the next day. More than 500 delegates from 27 worlds filled the great meeting hall. Jia, fresh from her morning rest, walked slowly beside Commander Dai. Ambassador Park and Dr. Kim followed behind them. "Stay close to me," Dai told Jia. "There are too many people here. It's not safe." "Are you worried?" she asked, looking up at him. "It is my job to worry," he said. "I think it's your job to keep me safe," said Jia with a small smile. "Worrying is extra." Day almost smiled back. Almost. Inside the hall, they found their seats near the front. The Earth delegation was given a place of honor, which surprised Dai. Earth was not a powerful world in military terms, yet they were treated with respect. As the opening speeches began, Dai scanned the room constantly. His instincts, honed by years of war, told him something was wrong. He couldn't identify what it was, but the feeling grew stronger as the morning went on. During a break, he pulled Ambassador Park aside. "Something is not right," he said in a low voice. "I feel it." Park looked concerned. "Do you want to leave?" "No, but I want to check the security systems. Stay with the girl. Don't let her out of your sight." Day spoke to the station security chief, a grim-faced woman named Captain Sun. "We've doubled the guards for the conference," she told him. Every delegate was scanned before entry. "Check them again," said Dai. "Especially the service staff." Captain Sun frowned. That would cause delays and offense. Better offended than dead. The captain stared at him for a moment, then nodded. I'll increase the scans, but quietly. When Dad returned to the Earth delegation, he found Gia surrounded by admirers. Representatives from 7 different worlds stood around her, asking questions and listening intently to her answers. Your guardian is very protective, said a tall, gray-skinned alien as Dai approached. Commander Dai is one of the Dominion's finest warriors, said Gia proudly. I am honored by his protection. The alien nodded respectfully to Da. The famous Commander Da. Your victory at the Battle of Torrent Pass is studied by our military cadets. Day nodded stiffly, uncomfortable with the praise in this setting. As they returned to the meeting hall for the afternoon session, Day's unease grew stronger. He positioned himself directly behind Jia's chair, his eyes constantly moving over the crowd. Halfway through a speech by the Centauri Prime Minister, Da noticed a server moving oddly along the side of the room. The man carried a tray of drinks, but his eyes never looked at the tray. Instead, they kept flicking to the Earth delegation. Day touched his communication device, connecting to Captain Sun. Check the server on the left wall, he whispered. Blue uniform, dark hair. A few seconds passed. His ID scans is clean, came the reply. But we're running a deeper check now. Day kept his eyes on the server, who was slowly working his way closer to their section. Then he noticed a second server on the opposite side of the room, also moving toward them. And a third, near the back exit, watching both of the others. They're working together, Day realized with a jolt. He leaned down to whisper in Jia's ear. When I say now, get under the table. Don't ask why. Jia nodded slightly, not showing any fear. The first server was only 20 feet away now. Day saw him slide a hand under his tray. The second server had moved to a position blocking the main exit. Now, Da whispered sharply. In one smooth motion, Jia slid from her chair to the floor beneath the table. At the same moment, Day drew his weapon and fired a stun blast at the first server. The man fell, his tray crashing to the floor. A small silver device rolled across the floor. A bomb. The room erupted in chaos. People screamed and ran for the exits. The second server pulled out a weapon, but before he could fire, Dai hit him with another stun blast. The third man, seeing his companions fall, turned to run. Day raised his weapon, aiming for a killing shot. No killing if possible, came Jia's voice from under the table. Please. Da hesitated, then adjusted his aim and fired a stun blast instead. It hit the man in the back, and he collapsed near the door. Security forces flooded the room, securing the attackers and the bomb. Captain Sun rushed to Da's side. How did you know? She demanded. They moved wrong, said Dai simply. Soldiers learn to see such things. Dr. Kim pulled Jia from under the table, checking her quickly. Are you hurt? I'm fine, said Jia, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. Commander Dai kept me safe. She looked up at him. Thank you, and thank you for not killing them. Day frowned. They tried to kill you. They deserved death. But now we can question them, said Jia. Find out why they did this. Maybe prevent more attacks. Da had not considered that. In battle, he eliminated threats, not captured them for questioning. The conference was suspended for the day while security forces searched the entire station. The Earth delegation was moved to a secure area with guards posted outside. Admiral Ta called immediately. What happened? He demanded. Is the Earth child safe? She is unharmed, said Da. 3 assassins tried to attack during the conference. They had a bomb. Who were they working for? We don't know yet. Captain Sun is questioning them now. The Admiral's face was grim. This changes things. The High Council wants the Earth delegation brought to Dominion space immediately. It's too dangerous there. I will inform Ambassador Park, said Da. But when he told the humans about the order to leave, Jia shook her head. We can't go, she said firmly. The trade agreements haven't been signed yet. If Earth leaves now, it will look like we're afraid. You should be afraid, said Da. Someone just tried to kill you. All the more reason to stay, said Ja. If we run away after an attack, it will encourage more attacks. Ambassador Park nodded in agreement. Jia is right. We need to show strength by staying. This is not wise, said Da. The Admiral's orders are for you, not for us, interrupted Park. We appreciate the Dominion's concern, but Earth will make its own decisions. Later that evening, Captain Sun brought news. The assassins have talked, she said grimly. They work for the Orion Syndicate. Day's eyes narrowed. The Orion Syndicate was a criminal organization that operated across multiple star systems. Why would they target the Earth delegation? Asked Ambassador Park. They weren't targeting all of you, said Captain Sun. Just her. She nodded toward Jia. The Syndicate has been losing influence since the peace talks began. Too many former enemies are now trading instead of fighting. Bad for weapons sales, bad for smuggling. She looked at Jia with new respect. They see you as the problem, Earthchild. Jia took this news calmly. Will there be more attempts? Probably, said Sun. The Syndicate doesn't give up easily. After the captain left, Dr. Kim voiced what everyone was thinking. Perhaps we should go home, Jia. It's too dangerous. No, said Jia quietly. If the Syndicate wants to stop peace, then we must work even harder for it. She turned to Da. Can you keep me safe if we stay? Da looked at this small, brave human who had just learned that dangerous criminals wanted her dead, yet showed no fear. Yes, he said with determination. I can keep you safe, even without killing, even with discretion. Da thought for a moment. It will be harder that way. But yes, I can do it. Jia smiled, and Da felt that strange tightness in his chest again. Her approval mattered to him now, he realized. When had that happened? That night, Da made new security plans. He arranged for additional guards, changed their daily schedule, and secured a different route to the conference hall. When Admiral Tai called again, demanding they return to Dominion space, Da found himself arguing against his superior's orders. The Earthchild has made her decision to stay, he said firmly, and I have made mine to protect her. The Admiral looked shocked. You are disobeying a direct order. I am fulfilling my mission, countered Da, to protect the Earth delegation. They are safer with me here than traveling through open space. After a long pause, the Admiral nodded. Very well, but the High Council will hear of this. When the call ended, Da found Jia standing in the doorway. You stood up to your Admiral for us, she said quietly. It was the right tactical decision, said Da. Jia smiled. Maybe. Or maybe you're learning that sometimes the most strength is shown by being gentle. Da didn't answer, but as he turned away, he felt something changing inside him. The hard shell he had built around himself through years of war was beginning to crack, and somehow he didn't mind.